On this episode of Three Tool Players, we discuss the incredibly tight races for the MVP and Cy Young Awards in both leagues. Also, Clayton Kershaw announces his retirement and we discuss his illustrious career. The Detroit Tigers are in a tailspin. And prepare to bow down before your robo-ump overlords and masters. All this and more on this episode of Three Tool Players. Welcome to Three Tool Players. I'm Chris Spear, and alongside me, as always, are the Hammer brothers. Brian and Dan Hammer, say hello to the internets, fellas.
Hello to the internets, fellas.
Ahoy, ahoy.
So I don't know where you want to start. There's a few things to talk about here. I'm not talking about the Mets. I don't care. The Mets are done. They're cooked. They're finished.
Well, I mean, like, I feel like you're still giving up. And the thing is,
What did I say last week? What did I say?
He said no to hope, Daniel. He said no to hope.
What did I say?
Yeah, they really did a number on themselves not doing their job with the Nationals. I can say that much.
They don't have the tiebreaker with the Reds, and
Nope.
they're going to play the Cubs and the Marlins, and they're going to lose, and that is the end of my...
You know who you should be angry at? You should be angry at the Cubs for just laying down for Cincinnati and dropping 4 straight. And then they're going to come after you guys. So I think they've got
and
a
we're
match
going to
to
get
grind.
swept. Right.
Yeah,
That's what... Yeah.
Spear, the question is, what did your Amazons do to the lovable guys in the north side? Like, what did you do? Did you, like, hit their dog on the way to the park there? Did you call their mothers ugly? Like, why would they do you so dirty at the end of the season? Tell me.
I have no answer to that.
What I was going to say too is, I mean, like, even like in the Nationals, I mean, like, they're playing hacky sack out in center field and still beating the Mets. Yeah, you see that guy has a phenomenal catch.
You know, it does matter, and I'm going to tell you what matters, and that is this. I flew to Phoenix, Arizona to go to the Friday game to root for the Philadelphia Phillies because I'm like, hey, you guys need to win this game because I'm thinking of my buddy Spear because you guys have to manhandle these Diamondbacks. I got the Phillies to win that night. I rallied. And we took game 1. So I delivered as promised.
Did you go to game 2 and game 3?
I did not. And here's why.
That's why they lost.
Can I tell you why?
They lost.
Well, there's a reason, Daniel, that I didn't go to games 2 and 3. Because our good buddy Christopher Spear decided it'd be cute to make fun of the video that I sent him to celebrate his good fortune with my good vibes at this game. And he said something about my nose hairs. I don't quite remember, but it was quite snarky. So what I did was I reversed and I said, you know what? How dare you, sir? How dare you? You know what? I'm going to take my good vibes and I'm going to now throw them towards the Arizona Diamondbacks. And sure enough, they won 2 straight. So
Spear, you sent bad juju back over to him?
He did. I didn't get an apology yet. Nothing. So Spear, all you get to say is I'm sorry right now. And I can guarantee you the Mets will sweep out the rest of the season. It's going to be the turnaround, feel good story of the season for you. Just a little, I'm sorry.
Can we move on with the rest of the show? I'm not talking about this.
Yeah, I was waiting for like an Uncle Buck. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, none of that. Yeah. This, Dan, we have to be careful. It's good that he lives, an hour and a half away. He is a salty, salty individual, a very salty man right now. So it's good not to be in his mushroom cloud area of destruction, as they say.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's talk about something else that's probably better for Major League Baseball than the New York Metropolitans. And we will talk about Clayton Kershaw, who announced his retirement from Major League Baseball. He pitched his final game as a Dodger last week. He's going to go down as one of the all-time best left-handed pitchers of all time. He's a 2-time World Series champion. He won the pitching Triple Crown in 2011. He's an 11-time All-Star. He's a National League MVP, and he's a 3-time Cy Young Award winner. And we talked about this. That's an exclusive club, the number of pitchers that have won 3 or more Cy Young Awards in their career. There's 11 of them, and he's one. Mm-hmm. Clayton Kershaw is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer without question.
I agree. Hats off to Clayton. I mean, this is a guy that would be absolutely lights out. In fact, Vince Scully used to call, I believe, his curveball public enemy number 1. Now, up until a couple of years ago, I would have been one of the biggest critics of Clayton Kershaw because that didn't translate to his postseason prowess. They didn't have a World Series to show for it, but also he did very poorly in his postseason matches. But he did get his redemption during the 2020 Corona season. He did get the World Series victory. He had a few wins in that series, kept his ERA down. And then, of course, we all know that LA won last year as well. So it's great that he's got these World Series championships under his belt. He's seen a little bit of success in the postseason. Therefore, without doubt, it changed my mind from saying, oh, is he really a first ballot Hall of Famer and kind of fringe to a second or third? No, this guy's absolute first ballot. End of conversation.
But if you take a look at his ERA, like he finishes with a 2.54 career ERA. You take a look at every season except for last season because, he was injured basically throughout the whole season. Every other season, there was only 3 seasons where he was over a 3 ERA, not counting his first year and not counting 2024. But other than that, the dude was unstoppable. He is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and there's no question to it.
Yeah, even without the 2 World Series wins, he's the 4th left-hander in Major League Baseball history to reach the 3,000 strikeout plateau. Like you said, Dan, his 2.54 career ERA is the lowest of any pitcher in the live ball era with over 2,000 innings pitched. He has a winning percentage of .698. Just put that in your brain for a second. He has a career win-loss record of 222 and 96, which is about 70%. It's the highest of any pitcher with at least 200 wins since 1900. And he's the only Los Angeles Dodger to win 200 games with the same franchise. And in today's day and age, his entire 18-year career was played with the Los Angeles Dodgers. That is something to be celebrated. You don't see that all too often. I think he would have been a first ballot Hall of Famer regardless of whether or not he won the 1 or 2 World Series championships. You can make the argument that his postseason performance hasn't been great, but on the overall, Clayton Kershaw had one heck of a career. So good for you, Clayton Kershaw. Happy retirement.
Absolutely.
All right, while we're on a high and we're talking about achievements in baseball, let's talk about this year's awards and the races as they come down to the last week of the season. It's close. In a couple of places, it's real close. And the most fascinating race for me, if we're going to talk about an MVP race, the one in the American League is fascinating because it comes down to 2 players who are having unbelievable seasons in Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh.
I mean, how can you differentiate the two? Cal Raleigh, he's a catcher. I mean, he's one of the most important people on the diamond. You're basically controlling the whole field. Everything comes down to the catcher. I would think that the committee should take a look at that and say you know what, this guy is having a phenomenal season. Even though he's batting only 247, I'm it's unheard of to see a catcher hit 58 home runs.
I agree. I think he's very strong. Dan, you're taking a page right out of the baseball bunch. The catcher is the general.
Absolutely.
So
you got to listen to Johnny Bench, right?
Got to listen to Johnny Bench, got to listen to the baseball bunch, and they'll be the first to tell you. I believe that was the Gary Carter episode where he mentioned who was out there in the general. We got to bring the Mets back into this somehow, Spear. I know you're down on them right now, but you got to remember the good times, the happy times. So
when were those? I don't remember.
Yes, Dan, I agree. And that's really tough for me to say because we all know that Aaron Judge is very good at baseball.
He is very good at baseball. Very good at baseball.
He's very, very good at baseball. He does have a higher OPS. He doesn't have as many games played. So in terms of the days off versus Cal, you got to lean more towards Cal. I hate to say it in terms of durability. Oh, and one more thing. Cal ended up winning the home run derby this year. Think about that for a second. When was the last time somebody won the home run derby and then went on to win the MVP?
I can tell you who was the last person who won the MVP and the home run derby.
Please do.
It's our boy Ryan Howard, man.
Really?
Philadelphia Phillies back in 2006. He won home run derby that year and won MVP.
Wow. Yep. All right.
The interesting part of this argument is it's the most valuable player. So you have to look at it in terms of value. And there's a stat you have that can tell you how valuable a player is to a team. And that's WAR, wins above replacement. Right now, even with the injuries, even with the time off, Aaron Judge has a WAR of 9 and Cal Raleigh has a WAR of 6.9.
Really?
which is a remarkable thing to say, right?
Yeah.
It
Because
is.
you have to look at the total body of work for Aaron Judge. There's a difference between, I think, counting stats and rate stats. And Cal Raleigh has a lot of counting stats that get an awful lot of attention. Certainly, the 58 home runs he has as of right now, and the league leading 121 RBIs he has, setting the records he has as a catcher and a switch hitter. But you also have to take a look at what Aaron Judge has done in fewer games. He has an American League lead in runs scored. He has 117 walks.
Leading the average, 326.
On base percentage of 451, and he's got the higher WAR between the two. So, I mean, when you look at it in terms of value, Aaron Judge provides a tremendous amount of value to a team that has been hanging in there all season. But what I think is going to happen is Cal Raleigh will end up getting the nod. But when you look at the total body of work and you look at the records, voters tend to lean into those types of players who have those kinds of big seasons, record-setting seasons. And you'd also have to make the argument that for the Seattle Mariners, we said at the beginning of the season, they had the pitching. They needed the hitting. And Cal Raleigh has provided the hitting in spades. So much so that the GM of the Mariners went out and made the bet to go get Eugenio Suarez to help bolster the team and give Raleigh some protection in the lineup so that they can be a bigger force once they get into the playoffs. For that, I think you might have to give the edge to Cal Raleigh, but I think that's why this race is fascinating to me, because you could go either way and it would be fine if you picked one over the other.
So here's what I'll say then. Since we can all agree that Judge is the leader of the Yankees and Cal Raleigh is the leader of the Seattle Mariners, if Seattle wins the AL West title, then I think that Cal is a lock at that point. That's my thinking.
All right. National League MVP is even stranger if you want to, when you dig into it a little bit. It's Shohei Ohtani's world, and we're all living in it. The question is, does Kyle Schwarber have enough stats to knock Ohtani off of his perch where he's going to win his third consecutive MVP?
I would love it, but I would have to say no.
Wow. You're feeling like I'm feeling over here.
Yeah, well, the thing
Conflicted.
is, you take a look at Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, he's just DHing, but then you throw in the pitching on top of it. How can you not say that he is the best player in the National League? I think even though Kyle Schwarber, phenomenal year, 53 home runs right now, he's leading the league in RBI with 129, but he's not Shohei Ohtani.
I love Schwarber. I do. I think he's a powerful dude and good clubhouse guy, like we all discussed. But Shohei he's from another planet, or he's, like we said before, he's here from the future. He's a cyborg. One of the things I think I said at the top of the season was, until the resistance comes, Shohei's the guy to beat. He's got too many tools, too many weapons.
I mean, his case got a lot better once he got back on the mound.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you were looking at it just from a hitting perspective, you can put Ohtani and Schwarber side by side and you can make arguments.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're both ridiculous. And like you said, Ohtani steals bases, Schwarber doesn't. From a home run perspective, they're about even.
Yeah.
Ohtani's got more hits, but not by much. I mean, you could look at them side by side and you could say, okay, they're about right. But WAR again comes into play here. Ohtani's got a 7.2 WAR. Schwarber's got a 4.4 WAR.
Mm-hmm.
They're both DHs, so that takes the position part of it out of the equation. On paper, the two of them, side by side as DHs, you could have made the argument for either or. But once Ohtani got back on the mound, that's the end of the argument for Schwarber. And that's unfortunate for Kyle Schwarber, who has had a career year. But you know what? His award is that he's going to get the bag.
Oh, he's gonna get so paid.
He's gonna get the bag.
My God.
That's gonna be his. That's gonna be his just reward. He's gonna get the bag.
What's gonna be interesting here is I really hope, for Philadelphia's sake, that they work out a similar deal that Shohei did, and that was have a lot of deferred money into this, so that they can continue to stay competitive, and we can make him the new Bobby Bonilla. Bobby Bonilla Day is on July 1st, right, Spears? So who's to say that Schwarber doesn't get that same type of love if he takes huge deferred money?
Yeah, I'm aware of when Bobby Bonilla Day is. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Hey, how about another close one for a Philly? we talked at the beginning of the season. You guys both had Paul Skeens as Cy Young Award winner when we did our season preview.
Mm-hmm.
I was more into Zach Wheeler, and I was saying, prove it, Paul Skeens, prove it. But Wheeler goes down. But you know who stepped up is Christopher Sanchez,
Absolutely.
who should be in this conversation. I don't think it's a lock. I think most people are going to want to give it to Skeens just because of how dominant he can be. But when you look at value for a team, Christopher Sanchez has stepped into the hole that Wheeler left when he went down. And he's got the stats to go toe to toe with Skeens for Cy Young. What do you think of that, Dan?
I have to agree with you. You take a look at the domination of Chris Sanchez this year in comparisons to the year prior. I mean, like every year he seems to get better. I remember when we first initially signed him, I believe we signed him in 2023. We signed him for $5 million a year, I think for 5 years. And I'm like, this is an absolute steal. He's 13-5 this year and has a 2.66 ERA. Not to mention he has close to 200 strikeouts. He's just under with 198. Dude has been lights out, and I can't be more than happy that he is on my team right now.
You also have other Phillies starting pitching that still eat up a little bit of that, right? So like Luzardo comes to mind.
If he didn't have those 2 games where he gave up, I believe it was 8 earned runs, and then the next game, I think he gave up like 10 or 12 earned runs.
Right.
You wipe out both those games, he would still have like a 2 ERA, but you have to take those into consideration too.
Yeah.
We hit lightning in a bottle when we signed Jesus Luzardo this year. We signed him for a 1-year contract. Is he going to be available next year at the same price? More than likely not.
No, but look, he's got more strikeouts. He's got more wins. His whip isn't as good as Sanchez. His ERA is definitely not as good, but it takes votes away, right? Because then you got Skeens that still kind of sits with the ERA, with the whip, with the strikeouts. So he just has a really great combination, and he might still get that pity vote because people realize that he's on a dog of a team. His wins are not going to be there. The fact that he's 10-10 this year is a miracle because he gets no run support. That just gives more and more credence to his legend that's growing in Pittsburgh. As much as I want to root for, Sanchez and, others on your staff in Philly, Dan, you can't help but really pay attention to the guy out west in Pittsburgh. Spear, what were you thinking?
It's close. It's really close. Skeens has got an ERA of 2. Sanchez has an ERA of 2.66. Their whip is pretty close, although Skeens has one that's sub 1. It's 0.96. Sanchez has a 1.18, which is not so far off. They're not far off on strikeouts. They're not far off on a lot of different statistical categories, but the one thing that they're not far off on is WAR. Sanchez has a WAR of 7.2. Skeens has a WAR of 7.3. So it's closer than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's close. I think voters will vote for Skeens probably because he gets more press than Sanchez.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
And that's unfortunate. Skeens gets all the press and Sanchez doesn't. But you can make an argument for Christopher Sanchez, and it would be a good one for him to be the Cy Young for the National League.
Dan, is it Skeens for you or is it Sanchez?
Oh, it's Skeens for me.
Skeens for me.
Seeing him pitch at Citizens Bank Park, I was like, this dude is a machine. He's not human. He's he's a T1000. He's an absolute beast. Now, I do have a question for you guys, and it's some trivia. Who was the last pitcher to win the Cy Young Award with 10 wins or less?
Can we preface by saying this didn't happen in the 1800s?
This did not happen in the 1800s. You are correct.
Good.
This actually happened not too long ago.
How not too long ago?
Not too long ago.
How not too long ago?
Because we know good
Within
pitchers
the
on
last
shitty
decade.
It's Jacob deGrom.
Yes.
I was waiting for you to say it.
It's Jacob. I didn't know whether or not he had less than 10 wins, but
yeah, you took a long ass time right there, my friend. I mean, like, you should know that your Mets stink.
It's Jacob
Oh,
deGrom.
wow. Man, he's kicking it when he's down. Look at this kid. How about you? We won the division already. How do you like that?
It's Jacob deGrom.
Jacob deGrom, 2018, he had a 10-9 record with a 1.7 ERA and 269 strikeouts.
Yeah, deGrom deGrominates. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, and
And three
the Mets
letters.
had a losing record and came in fourth place that year in their division.
All right. So,
I just wanted to say that.
of
I'm
course you did.
sorry. I'm sorry, Spear.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know
No,
this is
you're not.
America. So we're clear on the Cy Young on the national side. What about the American League side?
It's a race between Scooble and Crochet and maybe Max Fried.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't even know if you can include DeGrom in the conversation.
No, if they were competitive, I would say yes, but he doesn't even show up. He's literally he only has 12 wins. And he has an ERA over 3. His whip's not bad. It's sub 1.
I mean, the one thing you could say about DeGrom is that DeGrom pitched the whole season. This is one of the few full seasons that DeGrom has pitched in the last 10 years. You can give him that much, but I don't think that's enough to keep him in the conversation. Max Fried, 18-5 with a 2.92 ERA. He's got the wins.
Doesn't have the strikeouts though. He's not sexy in that regard. He's got 182,
But
but
so Crochet, 17-5. He's got the wins with a 2.69 ERA. They're in the neighborhood. Scooble's got an interesting stat line right now. He's 13-5 with a 2.23 ERA. So he doesn't have the wins that Crochet has. He doesn't have the wins that Fried has. But his ERA is half a run lower than both of them,
and he's got the whip. I mean, you can make a case for DeGrom there because he's tied for second in the league in whip, but Scooble's got 0.88. So
which is ridiculous.
Mm.
It's
it's
ridiculous.
ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, what can you do at that point? I mean, it's kind of hard to ignore. I will say this, and I know that these awards get chosen before the postseason, and Detroit has had just a miserable post All-Star showing. I remember everybody was riding high on them. These guys are for real. These guys are for real. They've been meandering, and now they're only a game ahead of the Cleveland Guardians. If they get bounced out of first place and potentially even miss the wild card, Scuba might fall under the axe of that. I'm just throwing that out there. He's a great pitcher. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying from a standpoint of how your team performs, you are a part of that.
It's the reverse effect. I think Skeens, he can't do anything about it. He's on an awful team. Sorry, Pittsburgh. The Pirates are awful. But Detroit, this skid, Scooble is going to be part of that skid. Even though he's a dominant pitcher on that team, if the Guardians leapfrog over them, it's not going to be good for his MVP race. Because if you take a look at Boston Red Sox with the trade of Rafael Devers over to the Giants, pitching had to step it up a little bit because they lost one of their offensive key pieces that they had on their team. So Garrett Crochet, with what he has done with the Boston Red Sox, it shouldn't go unnoticed.
Do you know how many wins Scooble has since the All-Star break?
Enlighten me, brother.
3. 3 wins. That
Three
is it.
stinking wins?
3 wins.
Wow.
He may be in the same boat that Skeens is in. I mean, a guy who has a 0.88 whip,
Yeah.
that guy isn't losing games on his own.
Well,
He
So
has
I'm
some
looking-
help to it.
I mean, I'm looking at his earned. You know what? There may be some credence to that. I mean, I'm looking at his earned runs over those games. Like, so he won a game on August 2nd, gave up 3 runs, right? But he got the W there. Gave up 4 runs, gave up 3 runs, gave up 0 runs August 19th. Still didn't get the win. It wasn't until August 31st where he threw 7 shutout innings that he got win number 12. And now we're into September. He only has 1 win in September. I mean, it's a difficult stretch. Maybe there is something to be said about run support. Maybe there isn't.
I think there's a lot to be said there about run support. The guy,
All right,
the
fine.
guy,
I was
the
doing my
guy's
best
got
here.
the guy's got a 2.2 ERA, and he's only got the 12 wins. There's a lot to be said for run support. What are you talking?
Listen, here's what I'm talking about. I'm here to plant seeds of doubt, and that is I want Max Fried going all the way. That's our boy.
It's real close between Crochet and Fried. Real close. I mean, it's nearly impossible to discern between the two of them from a statistical perspective. The only thing that Crochet has over Fried is a WAR of 5.6. Fried has a WAR of 4.2. Scooble has a WAR of 6.5. So if you're going to look at it strictly from a value perspective, it's the most valuable pitcher. Scooble would be your guy. But does Scooble's value translate to wins? No. And like you said, if the Tigers fall off, and even miss the playoffs and pull a Mets, then who knows? It's got to be Crochet or Freed. And for me, my money would be on Crochet, just like I think I predicted at the beginning of the season.
You think about it this way too. The last 6 games for the Tigers, they have 3 games against the Red Sox. They have 3 games against the Guardians.
And by the way, they have lost 6 in a row going into those last
They
two
are
series.
they are 1-9 out of their last 10.
One last bit of news before we wrap it up. It was announced this week that the robo-umps will be officially in play, calling balls and strikes in Major League Baseball in 2026. I don't know, guys. I have mixed feelings. What do you guys think?
I have many, many, many mixed feelings. The first one is Skynet is won. Like, what's happening here? Let's just take human element completely out of America's pastime. Let's just give the keys over to our AI dominators at this point. We're all screwed. When baseball stuff prophesizes that we're heading into the rapture tonight or tomorrow night, apparently the rapture is supposed to happen. I think it's due to this news. All right. I mean,
this is the end of days.
These are the end of days. The seas are boiling, my friend. All right. And you want to know something? You know who you have to blame? It's Ohtani, because we all know he's here from the future. He is that futuristic cyborg that has implanted this idea, this seed behind the scenes. We don't know this is happening, but this was totally him, just employing the whole Skynet market. I am not pro robo-umps. I'm sorry. I am RoboCop. I am pro RoboCop. I'm just not pro.
Let's be very clear.
Very clear. Because he does have humanity still attached to him.
Oh my God.
In Alex Murphy. Dan, please tell me you feel the same way. You're not embracing these robot overlords.
Well, you know me. I mean, I even play vintage baseball, and the thing is, it's the human element. We're not perfect. It's going to happen. People make mistakes. You think about Jim Joyce taking that perfect game from Galarraga, calling the guy safe at first. I mean, like those are the things. It happens. It's like I don't want to go away from like the human element because we all make mistakes. But the thing is, I like what they are doing where like they're like, oh, we just want to get things right, and they're not going to go deep into robo-ump. It's only 2. You only get 2, and if you get it wrong, then you lose it. And so it's only 2 of them. Now, if you get it right, you retain it.
So if you do one and you get it right, do you get to keep that
Yes.
one?
You keep on
That's all I wanted to know.
if you keep on getting it right, you will retain it.
So you could argue a challenge multiple times, like 4, 5, 6, 7 times, as long as you keep getting it right.
Yeah, you can.
At
Oh
that
my
point,
God.
that umpire needs to take a lap.
Yeah, exactly.
The robo robot needs to take a lap.
Well, no, it's the robot that's telling you whether or not the umpire screwed up. Like the whole point of the system is so that the players get the opportunity to have fair balls and strikes called based on the rules of the game. Angel Hernandez would not have had a job much longer with robo-umps because you get the opportunity.
See.
Every player, and it's a pitcher, a catcher, or a batter that can tap their helmet and they can call for the robotic review of the ball or strike. If an umpire is that bad that a team can keep calling for a review and keep getting it right every time, that umpire needs to take a lap.
Here's the thing. I was under the impression that these would just be like android robots behind the plate wearing, umpire gear. There would be no human being behind the catcher. Okay.
That would be a sight to see, I would say.
I'm talking straight like Wayland Yutani synth action.
You
right?
put RoboCop behind the plate.
That's what we need. We need RoboCop behind the plate. That is a strike, dirtbag, right? Like, and of course, Detroit always wins. So what a bunch of malarkey that would be. All right, so you're telling me that T-Mobile is behind the eye in the sky, whatever, the plate, whatever, and the human umpire has to get their stuff right. I kind of like this because now the umpire has to make sure that their stuff is together. Like you said, Spear, Angel Hernandez would have been gone years ago. I'm kind of for that, but I kind of like the idea of watching a manager storm out of the dugout and start kicking dirt on some like random like android, and the android not feeling anything, but it's like, what do you mean? It's like, sorry, that does not compute. I never learned to love, right? And that's the saddest thing of all. Robot doesn't learn to love.
I'm with you guys on the human element of the game, but if I were to play devil's advocate, we've had instant replay and the challenge system in the National Football League for years now. And I don't think there's anybody who could say that it has been a detriment to the game. I think most people would say that it's added a level of fairness to ensure that plays are called correctly, are touchdowns or they're not touchdowns. It levels the playing field a little bit. It's about basic fairness. The technology has been there for a long time to be able to do this. I think it's only gotten better, but certainly there have been blockers in place, unions, things like that, that have delayed this coming to the fore. I mean, in tennis, you can tell within a millimeter of whether or not the ball hit the line. Certainly by this point, you can tell whether or not something was a ball or a strike, and I think it's a good thing for baseball.
You know what, though? You mentioned, people that have delayed this, like unions, just call them what they are, Spear, and it's underground resistance. Okay,
right.
These are freedom fighters that are coming from the sewers that are saying no to the machines, no to the androids, no to the AI. Keep this a pure human sport, or else rapture is upon us. And here it is, end of days. Thank you for that.
Yeah, Dennis Leary was trying to tell us this in Demolition Man, right?
Yep.
Everyone eats Taco Bell now, right?
Oh God, Taco Bell's gotten so much better in the last 20 years. Have you realized
Exactly.
that? Like,
That's every restaurant's going to be Taco Bell. Didn't you know this?
20 years ago, you ate Taco Bell, you were waiting for diarrhea. Like now I show up to Taco Bell and I'm spending like $28 on a meal. I'm like, what am I doing here? And I take a bite. I'm like, you know what? This isn't half bad. They figured it out. Every restaurant's going to be Taco Bell.
Sylvester Stallone was onto something in Demolition Man, right?
Yo quiero Taco Bell, sir.
Here's the telltale sign then that our AI overlords have taken over everything as it relates to baseball. When every concession stand in the stadium is Taco Bell, just bow down to your robot overlords and masters.
I'm just really hoping that like if every restaurant becomes Taco Bell when I'm like 80 years old, I really do hope that I will learn how to use the 3 seashells.
You know what? You're going to have to learn, Dan, because all the trees will be gone by then.
Yeah, Rob Schneider knows how to use it.
We're going to be using these metal seashells on our buttholes.
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells.
Who doesn't? All right. The seashells, they're here for your pleasure.
So our robot overlords and masters, I'm sure, are listening to every episode of the Three Tool Players podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube, where they are smashing all of those like, follow, and subscribe buttons. And I'm sure they are following us on TikTok at 3 Tool Players and on x.com at 3 Tool Pod. And for Brian and Dan Hammer, I'm Chris Spear, and we thank you, our robot overlords and listeners, for listening to this episode of 3 Tool Players.
Hasta la vista, baby.